Welcome to Envision Broadcasting, the station designed to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success presents The Momentum Shift. A show where we get inspired, we get moving, and we get results. Every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern with your host, Eric Collier. He's the mayor of motivation and mental quicksand expert, bringing you inspiring interviews and empowering stories that will help to improve lives. If you're ready to start making the impossible possible, then you've joined the right show, because the momentum shift is what you've been looking for.
That moment of, God, what's going on? What is really going on? And in that moment, the question came, if you couldn't do HR anymore, what else would you do?
Okay.
And I had to pause and think about that. Like, really, what else would I do or can I do?
Yeah.
And while just sitting in that, and sometimes it's going to take time. But just sitting in that and really allowing myself to think and to feel that's when the memories of, you remember when you were living in Arizona and you thought about going to massage therapy school? I was like, that's right. Think about going to massage therapy school, but it wasn't the right timing right then.
Yeah.
And then the thought was like, well, is now the right time?
Because I'm somebody who believes that the largest gap an individual will face is the gap that stands between where they are now and what they could become. So the question becomes, are you willing to climb? The greatest trick the mind will ever pull is convincing you that your greatness does not exist. Mama used to say, she said, Eric, what you do in the dark will come out in the light. And she means that you reap what you sow. You get what you put in. And so you got to put the work in. Why? Because you're going to step your game up and tap into that untapped potential of yours and become the greatest person that you can possibly become.
I woke up, I was about to lose everything. And so my wife was about to leave me, and that meant my 3 children were going to be gone, which really hurt me because I would fall short on a promise to my kids where I told them that I was their father. Nobody would ever be in the house taking care of them. Nobody would be responsible for them. They never had to worry about calling anybody daddy but me. Momentum shift. When you get stuck, you got to find a way to get going. And that is all about elevating your performance. You have to realize that high-level results are not products of low-level effort. So you got to step your game up. So you get stuck, you got to get yourself moving. And when you're down in the dumps, you're the only one that's going to be there. So you got to be your own hype man.
What happens is when you don't realize that you have all that you ever need to create the life that you want to live, you're missing out. You're standing at the base of that mountain thinking and hoping somebody's going to save you when all you got to do is take action. Theodore Roosevelt said, he said that the credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena with their face marred in dust with sweat and blood. You got to get into the arena, claim your moment, take the opportunity to take your shot. Then when you're in that arena, think about this. I got to step my game up.
Eric's message was extremely powerful.
The power of overcoming is not just connected to you. You're rising because the people behind you are counting on you. Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
Hello and welcome to the Momentum Shift, a show designed to get you inspired, get you moving so you can get results. Why? Because we want you to turn the impossible into your new reality. I'm Eric Collier, the mayor of motivation and your host for tonight's show. And always, I'm excited about the guests I bring to you because it's about momentum shifting. And that's what they're here to help you understand how to shift your life into a new level. I have with me today Apostle Dawn R. Smith. Apostle Smith is a pioneer and visionary who moves in a unique healing gift. She's the CEO and owner of Restoring Balance Holistically, located in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I apologize, I said that wrong, Balance Holistic. And she's a licensed massage therapist and wellness consultant. Her tagline is, Restoring Balance Holistic is find your peace, restore your balance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome my guest today, Apostle Dawn R. Smith. Welcome.
Hello, thank you.
Thank you for joining me. I'm excited about having you on here, as I am all my guests. But it's always nice to see somebody who is touching souls, and I mean, really just helping them change their life. And I like what I like about how you do it. It's about mind, body, and spirit. You teach them about connecting, and I'm big on connecting. But I want to first start with the number one question I love to ask. What is momentum shifting to you? What does it mean to you? And how has it changed your life?
Momentum shifting is, for me, it was a shift in careers.
Okay.
And sometimes that happens to us where you're on this career path and you love it. You have great success at it. I have certifications in HR and human resources. And then the shift happened. And it's about letting go of the old so that you can come into the new and then fully embrace that new path, knowing that, hey, I'm not quite sure where I'm going, but it's time for that momentum shift. It's time for me to shift into the now.
Yeah. You're so right on that. You touch on and say, I don't know where I'm going, but it's time to go. It's that moment, right? Talk to me a little bit about, who you are and a little bit more of what you do.
So I am a wife, a mother, a Gigi, um, all of those things. I am an apostle, and which means that I operate in the apostolic and the fivefold ministry, but not in the church building.
Okay.
I know a lot of times when we hear an apostle, we're thinking somebody who's preaching every Sunday, who's teaching every Sunday, but mine is a little bit different because my massage treatment room is the church house.
Okay.
And that is where we have service, where it is touching the body, the mind, and the spirit. And it's delivering healing experiences to my clients so that they can encounter God, sometimes in a new way,
All right.
sometimes in a bigger way, but it's always an encounter with God there.
Yeah. And I can imagine that moment where you just kind of just, and it's just, you like you said, that release, that the feeling that like, I'm in the right place. This is what's supposed to happen for me, right? That freedom of letting go.
Yes, the freedom of letting go. And for me, there was a little bit of a struggle of letting go. In the Bible, it talks about Lot and his wife and how,
Oh, I love
don't turn back, don't look back, because you're going
Yes.
to turn into a pillar of salt. And we all get to that point where it's the unknown and then there's the familiar. And sometimes we want to turn around and look back and glance back and like, but I remember when. And so it's knowing that time is going to come.
Yeah.
But stay focused, stay looking ahead on this new path. And it's supposed to be a journey. A lot of times we want to get to the destination so quickly that we don't allow the journey to fully bloom. There are things that we pick up along the journey. There are learning experiences for us that are encompassed in the journey.
Yeah.
We have to embrace that. And so when you take your time, when you appreciate where you are and you start looking around, then you can see the flowers are blooming here. It's nice over here. And so it becomes the journey. It's really all about the journey.
Yeah. And that journey starts with a connection, right?
The journey starts with a connection.
Yeah.
And that connection is often with yourself.
Yeah.
So many times we are splintered.
Well,
Our body is
okay.
doing one thing,
All right.
our soul is doing something else, and then our
Yeah.
spirit is like, I don't know what y'all doing. And so a man that is unstable in his thinking and his
Right.
ways, he's unstable in everything. And that begins with us
Right.
creating stability in us, which means that I'm allowing that mind body connection to flow, recognizing that there are things that may be going on in my body that didn't originate in my body.
Yeah.
It originated in my mind, which is
Right.
my soul, how I process things, how I see things, how I react to things. And so the body is the recording mechanism, and
Yeah.
it plays back what is recorded.
Right.
And that often comes out in the body, how we feel. And so learning to be one with yourself is that great connection. And then of course being one with God.
Yeah, I think I like to always say that what you tell yourself, you sell yourself, and you sell yourself. And like I said, if I was Amazon, my mind was always thinking lack, doubt, fear, and worry, and I was getting that stuff on cycle every 30, 90 days. It was just coming in, and it was feeding myself so bad that I didn't even believe I had what it took to be able to save myself. I was so bad I couldn't even reach up and grab the hand of people who were giving me opportunities to save myself. But sometimes you get to that point where you go, something's got to change. And so it happened for me. So, but I always tell people it doesn't happen overnight. So how long did you, because did you fight back and forth? I'm leaving this job. No, I'm not. I'm staying here. I'm leaving this job. No, I'm not staying here. And then did it affect your relationship at all?
This is the story about how that happened. I at the time was working at a company here in Raleigh, a large, very large tech company.
Okay.
And I wasn't in human resources. I was doing another role, operations manager role. And I was trying to get into HR at this company
Okay.
and couldn't. And it's not like I wasn't qualified. I was qualified. I had the years of experience. I had the certifications, 2 HR certifications, and just could not get my foot in the door.
Wow. Isn't that
And I
frustrating?
had
Ah.
I had that moment of, God, what's going on? What is
Yeah.
really going on? And in that moment, the question came, if you couldn't do HR anymore, what else would you do?
Okay.
And I had to pause and think about that. Like, really, what else would I do or can I do?
Yeah.
Um, and while just sitting in that, and sometimes it's going to take time. But just sitting in that and really allowing myself to think and to feel that, that's when the memories of, you remember when
Mhm.
you were living in Arizona and you thought about going to massage therapy school? I was like, that's right. Think about going to massage therapy school, but it wasn't the right timing right then.
Yeah.
And then the thought was like, well, is now the right time?
Right.
I'm now could possibly be the right time. So I talked to my husband and I'm
Uh-huh.
like, I'm thinking about going to massage therapy school. And he looked at me like, say what?
You know what
And
your
I'm like,
paycheck look like?
so I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking about going to massage therapy school. He was like, uh, and it took me 3 months, not even really 3 months from the time that I said, I'm thinking about going to massage therapy school to have been enrolled.
Okay.
Because at that point, it was like, okay, this path is here. You need to at least research
Yeah.
and investigate, follow the breadcrumbs. So many times we see the breadcrumbs and we just choose not to pick them up and follow them.
Right.
And so I did the research. I lined up 3 schools that I interviewed. I went and interviewed them. Yes,
Okay.
they thinking they're interviewing me as a
Right.
potential student. Yes, you are, but I'm here to interview you
I like that. You're
because I
taking my
want to
money.
know
I'm
what
interviewing
y'all
you.
offer,
Yeah.
what you offer that's different than the other schools. And then, I made my decision and enrolled.
I like
And
it.
it was a year program. So I was working full time in the day, going to school part time at night. I mean, like
Okay.
busy, busy, busy. And then, of course, there comes the time where you have to do labs. And labs really means that you got to do some massages.
Got you. Got you.
Like you got to put your hands on some people and do some massages.
Right. Right.
And I did it. And I'm like, okay, once I graduated, I'm like, well, this is cool. Now I graduated.
Yeah.
Let me get a part-time job at a
Okay.
massage massage franchise or at a massage organization
Uh-huh.
company so that I can kind of, make sure that I do know what I thought I learned.
Right.
And I did that. And I'm like, this is not that bad. I can
Yeah.
like this, right? And so then came the next shift.
Yeah.
And that shift was leave your 6-figure job
Mm.
and do this full
Yeah.
time.
Ooh.
And I'm like, ooh,
Ooh.
say
Yeah.
what? Say
Can I just stay here a little longer? Can I just at the right time? People who think of the right time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stay here a little longer. I'm gonna stack up my chips, and then I'm gonna go.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And so I thought about that, but it just was relentless. Like, you should quit, you should
Yeah.
quit. And so talked to my husband because this is a major financial decision for our family, right?
Right.
And he was like, if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it.
My man. I like it. Yeah.
So having support helps, it counts, it matters.
Yeah.
Having support people that may not understand what you're doing, but they support you, whether
Right.
it's financial support, whether it's emotional support, that they support you in that journey.
I think what
And
he was trying to say was, look, you can go get this job as a masseuse, but when you come home, I need to be healed. I got these kinks in my
I
neck.
got the
I'm
shoulder
working
over
too
here.
hard in my shoulder, my back. If he's anything
So
like I was,
yes,
if he was anything like I was with my daughter when she was baking, I need samples. I need samples.
yes, because in school, he was the person that I always practiced on. Okay, I have to learn this new stroke, this new technique. Let me practice on you. So yes.
He was all loosened up every day. He was like, "Hey, how you doing? How's everybody doing?"
It. Right. And making that decision and and not playing it small.
Mhm.
And so within about 4 months, I'd already formed my LLC because I'm a researcher. If you're gonna do it big.
Yes,
Don't play small.
gotcha.
Find out the legalities. Find out what it is that this business looks like, because this is now a business. This is not a hobby.
Right,
It was
yeah,
a hobby when I was doing it part-time.
right,
Baby, this is not a hobby anymore. This is a business. So set
right.
yourself up. Do the things that you know to do to set yourself up for success. So that meant getting an LLC.
Yeah.
That
And then
meant
let's tell everybody the LLC again. Balance real. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Restoring Balance Holistic Massage LLC,
There we go.
but I have a DBA, which means doing business as Restoring Balance Holistic.
Okay, there we go. I like it.
And so under the umbrella of Restoring Balance Holistic, I set up, I got my EIN.
Okay.
Yes, you're gonna have to deal with the government. You're gonna have to
Right.
deal with the IRS.
They
In
want
order
their
to,
money. They want their
in order
paperwork.
to, yes, to set up a business account,
Hmm.
you need an EIN because they're gonna ask for it. They want to see it. So I did all of that, set up my business accounts. While I was setting up my business account, they were like, "Hey, do you want a credit card for your business?" Why, yes, I do. And so going ahead and starting to get credit established, right? And following those steps. And then of course, marketing and finding out, okay, who's your target market. And that has even shifted over the 4 years that I've been in business, where actually it's a discovery path. You
Yeah.
discover, well, I thought I liked this in school, and I do, but I like this better. This is more of me.
Right.
And it's finding yourself, your voice within that journey. And so in doing that, that's how I kind of got into the niche that I'm in now. So in addition to doing the massages, um, I am the founder of the Esther Experience,
I was going to ask about that. Yeah.
which is, based on the book of Esther out of the Bible. In addition to that, I make products. So I make room sprays, I make wax melts, I make perfumes.
Wow.
And so all of that is encompassed in Restoring Balance Holistic. So the ingredients that I use in the products that I make, they are clean fragrances, non-toxic. So I've kind of, made this little market so that people can feel safe spraying products.
Right.
And honestly, you maybe not. I was gonna say you'd be surprised, but maybe not, of the amount of people that don't know the toxicity of some of the stuff that we're using.
Oh yeah.
And
We
and it's in everything. And so I constantly tell people you need to know what your toxic burden is.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that all of the things, whether it's environmental, the things that we breathe in, our home breathe, and the streets breathe at, in the stores, at different places, that has an effect.
Yeah.
For women, especially the makeup that we use, the hair stuff that we use. And as African American women, I mean, we have tons of stuff, hair products that are thrown at us, right?
Yes.
But are they good for you?
Right.
Are they good for your hair? What are they doing to your body? So all of those things matter, even to the things that we wash our clothes with.
Yeah.
To the foods that we eat. So all of this has an effect on the body. And so some of the things that we go through in the body, it's not just because you hurt yourself, you fell, you hit your arm. Some of it is mental. It's the soul realm. And then some of it is just the things that we are taking in.
Yeah.
The conversations, the negative conversations that we're taking.
Yeah.
That
Feel when
has
you're
our
around.
stress
I'm
levels.
sorry. I just cut you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, talk to me about that one, because I don't know about you, but when I get in a room full of people who are Debbie Downers or Joe Boo Boos, I don't feel it's like the negativity is just draining, and I have to get out really quick. How do you talk to me about how that plays a role on your healing or your happiness?
It does. It plays a huge part. And so what you become aware of and you start to notice, then it starts to be magnified. And it's the body has this system. It's the RAS, your reticular activating system.
Okay. Yeah.
And that reticular activating system, or RAS, it happens when you become aware of something. Let's say all of a sudden you see a white BMW X5.
Right.
And you're like, oh my gosh, I like that vehicle.
Uh-huh.
And then you start seeing it everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, it was everywhere to begin with.
Right.
It wasn't in your perception. You just didn't recognize it. And now, because you recognize it, you see it everywhere. So when you become at peace with yourself and you know what peace feels like, when you go into spaces and places where there is no peace and you're around the Debbie Downers and those people that have negativity, you immediately feel it.
Yeah.
And it will drain you. It can drain you. And so that's when you have to learn how to, in those instances, live in your bubble.
There we go.
Is there some rooms and spaces that you have to be in and you just can't get up and leave?
Right.
Right. So you have to live in your bubble of peace, which means that it's mobile.
Yeah.
You can take your bubble of peace around you into all of these places and spaces so that you can hear what they're saying, but you don't have to take it on.
Right.
You don't have to take it in. It's like, I'm listening to what you're saying and I'm going to appropriately respond, but I'm not going home with this.
Right. Yeah.
It's going to stay right here.
You got the little ninja just blocking everything coming at you, right? The little shield and everything else.
Yeah.
It's important. It's important. My mom used to say, I can tell you if you hang around 9 broke people, I know who number 10 is. And it's the same thing with happiness and unhappiness, right? So talk to me about how the people that you hung around with, how your circle has changed.
My circle has.
I know you know Dr. Letitia Nicole.
Yes. Speak life.
Speak life. Dr. Letitia Nicole, the energy she brings, the positivity she brings, I love it. And so I know if you're with her and anybody you're hanging around with her, you're always up on cloud 9.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so there are going to be some relationships that will fall away naturally.
Yeah.
And then there may be some ones that it takes a little bit of work, but you'll find yourself being attracted to people that are where you are looking to go. And
Right.
Dr. Letitia is one of those people. Funny story, how we met.
Okay.
Massage.
Really?
She was gifted a massage by one of my clients.
Are you feeling stuck, dreaming of a life beyond your current boundaries? I'm Collier,
and I've been where you are. Now, as an international speaker, 3-time international best-selling co-author, veteran, and the host of the Momentum Shift podcast and radio show, I've dedicated my life to helping people just like yourself embark on a transformative journey to unlocking your inner greatness. With my wealth of experience and a proven track record, I guide individuals to break through barriers and create life-changing momentum shifts. Having been featured in news and magazine articles, on television shows, and spoken on stages like the National Press Club and Columbia University, my message has inspired people worldwide to turn the impossible into possible. On my show, the Momentum Shift podcast and radio show, I'm committed to sparking a movement that empowers others to shift momentum in their lives, offering motivational insights, interviews, and thought-provoking discussions. If you are ready to redefine what's possible and unlock your potential, then subscribe to my mailing list for exclusive content and updates. Join a community of motivated individuals just like yourself on the path to greatness. Subscribe now and transform your life at Collier.com.
So she came to me to get her massage that was gifted to her by another client.
Wow.
And so that was how we initially met.
Okay.
And then I went to a couple of places, and I think we kind of like, I saw her and I was like, hi. So we kind of like reconnected that way as well. So she got to know me outside of the business, outside of the massage. And recently I, signed up for her coaching.
Okay. All right.
I signed up for her coaching program. The thing is that we all need coaching in some areas of our life. And being in the Speak Life organization, you're surrounded with other women who have same type of aspirations.
Yeah.
Their journey may be different, their function may be different, their purpose may be different, but the common thread is being able to speak life.
There we go.
And so your circle will change. And if you're the smartest person, we've heard this before, if you're the smartest person in your circle, you need to find a new circle.
I'm in trouble. I don't know everything. I need to know more. I'm under construction for life.
Yes. And that's the thing. We're under construction for life. It's never designed for you to like,
Yeah.
and you have everything.
I wake up in the morning. I know everything. It's a wrap. It's done. It's not happening.
No, we need people. There's some people that feed us, and then there are going to be some people that we feed.
Yeah.
And so that's what a body does. Like, let's look at the human body, for example. My eyes can't get mad at my ears and say, you know what, I don't like you. I don't want to hang around you. You're no good. You don't do anything for me. I'm not going to help you. My eyes need my ears. It's part of the same unit. It's part of the same body. And so my eyes, they're not focusing on trying to hear.
No.
They only want to see. Let me see.
And so,
but it works synergistically together because it forms the body. And so even taking it spiritually, the body of Christ, which has a lot of members doing a lot of things, but we're still one body.
Right.
And so it doesn't mean that we get to hang out all the time because, I'm here doing my function, but synergistically, I'm doing my function so that the body can perform.
Yeah.
And so everybody's part is needed. So if we get into doing our part, then the whole body functions better.
Yeah. I think so. Through massage, talk to me how that works with releasing the negativity and releasing the, relaxing the soul and everything else. How does that, are there different, what's it called? Points. You gotta help me out. Sensitivity points or areas
like reflex points and
there we go.
Yeah, yes. So first of all, I recognize that our 5 senses really do need to be a part of this. And so when we talk about body, spirit, and soul, I create an atmosphere that incorporates peace.
Okay.
It's peaceful.
All right.
So when clients come, the first thing that they're greeted with is peace.
Okay.
So from me opening the door to
Right.
greeting them, and they walk into the space. So it's the visual.
Yeah.
So things are in order, things are made beautiful, and you're like at peace. And when you go into a beautiful space,
Yeah.
you're like, but when you go to a place that's dirty and nasty and stuff is out of order,
You
you're like,
on guard. Yeah. You're like, ooh, yeah.
so, I'm playing into that eyesight of seeing, and
Yeah.
then of course, then there is the feeling of peace, like,
Yeah.
okay, this is relaxing.
Mhm.
Next, then there's the music, the soaking music that I use. And again, that's relaxing because
Yeah.
music is medicine. It can create peace, it can create an environment of stability. And it can create an environment in which you can like release trauma, where you can release toxins.
Right.
So all of that is important when dealing with in this industry or in this environment with the massage. And so then it's talking,
Yeah.
So tell me as a client, what are your pain points? What are the things that you're here for? Are you here just for relaxation?
Yeah.
And honestly, that's the number one thing when it comes to stress, because when you're stressed, you need to relax.
Right.
That's the time to get a relaxing massage. And I know sometimes we're like, people like deep tissue and they want you to like
Oh yeah, that's where I'm
work
at.
out
Just
the tension.
jump
All,
down and
ten-
just
all tension is not going to be worked out by me putting my elbow in your back.
it
Okay.
feels good though.
It's not. A relaxing and soothing touch can do more for the body and for the soul than the
Yeah.
elbow, can do. Because most of the time, if you're not used to it, your body is going to tense up anyway.
Got you.
And then it makes it harder for me to get in. The muscle at that point, it's tense and it's tight, and it's not gonna let that pressure in. Starting off with a more gentle touch.
Yeah.
And so then all of the amenities that I add to the massage. So when you come in, we have the lights that are soothing. You hear the soothing sounds. I have a water fountain that's in my massage treatment room.
Those are
And
so nice. Yeah.
it's hearing water run has an effect, a physiological effect on the body.
That's why I sleep with the ocean playing all night long.
Yes. You know why? Because the body is about 80% water.
Okay.
And so hearing water trickle means that it's flowing. And so even when there are areas of stagnation in the body,
Right.
now it's hearing a flow, and your body can get into that flow
Yeah.
of movement, because we were never created to be stagnant or to be still.
I'm with
Bodies
you,
of
though.
water that are stagnant and that are still are
They
called
stink.
swamps,
And they stink.
and they stink.
And
Because no
bugs and
fresh water
everything.
is flowing in, and it's not flowing out.
Yeah.
It's just, collecting dead stuff
Right.
and
Yeah.
stinky insects and bugs and
Yeah.
ugh.
You just messed up
And like
all
some
the
of us,
senses.
yes, and some of us are like walking swamps
Yes.
because
Yeah.
nothing is moving on the inside, and it's supposed to be.
Oh yeah. That's why I love it. Going to
And
the ocean. We went to the ocean one year, and we got there and it was a snowstorm, big snowstorm. And everything just snow, just feet of snow, right? And we go out there and the ocean is doing this thing. Boom, it's crashing, it's moving and everything else. And it just doesn't stop. And that energy flow, no matter how cold it was, how much the wind was blowing, snow was coming down, it was still refreshing. I love it. You're so right about the water though, the way it feels on you, the senses and everything else.
yeah. And our bodies are supposed to be flowing.
Mhm.
The systems of our bodies, the 11 systems, they all have a flow. So your respiratory system, which the major organ is the lungs,
Yeah,
there's moisture in your lungs.
right.
It's the problem when it's imbalanced, when it's too much moisture, right? And
Gotcha.
then that's when you start to get congested and different
Right.
things. But even that, your lungs, they expand and they contract. They
Yeah,
expand and they contract. So they're
right.
always moving, right? And then
Yeah,
there's the circulatory system, which the main organ is the heart.
yeah.
And it's
Boom, boom, rhythm, right?
There's a rhythm, there's a
Yeah.
beat to that. And then your blood is supposed to flow through
Yeah.
your arteries, your
I
veins,
got
your
me rolling up in
capillaries,
here. I'm like,
according to
yeah.
that. So everything is supposed to be a movement. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
a flow, right?
Yeah.
Your lymphatic system.
Uh-huh.
So your lymphatic system, about 80% of it is housed in the gut. And
Okay.
so your lymphatic system is, it encompasses your immune system.
All right.
So now you can see, like, when you start to feel ill, get a cold, or you don't feel good, the first thing that leaves is your sense or your desire to eat.
Yes. Yeah.
Because your immune system is like, I gotta work. I don't have time for you to be over here eating. Then the digestive system gotta kick in because we gotta
Right.
do something with this. I need to work. So
Yeah.
let's just shut all of these other unnecessary things down so that I can get to work and do what it is that I
Yeah.
need to do. Help boost up the immune system,
Yeah.
send these fighter T cells out so that they can attack whatever is trying to attack us
Right.
and make you feel better, right?
So
all of
so
these
so hold on a
systems.
second. So you talked about the gut right there. So do you include nutrition in your holistic path as well?
I don't really do any consultations around eating and gut health, but I do sell some products. So I sell noni, the original Tahitian noni
Only
juice.
juice? Okay. All right. Yeah.
And that is some really good stuff. There have been countless studies done. It is actually in the physician's desk reference.
Okay.
So there's documented information about what this noni fruit does for the body, as far as helping the body, reducing inflammation in the body. And it's not that inflammation is bad. It's just that when it's too much
Yeah.
inflammation, that's when it's bad.
Gotcha.
Because inflammation happens when you hit your arm and then you go to touch it and it's warm
Right.
and it looks a little swollen, because your cells now are fighting to protect itself, to heal itself. So blood flow, whenever you feel warmth, there's blood flow. There's a lot of blood flow. And so because the blood is flowing, sending those and the um killer T cells are going to try to like clean up stuff and
Right.
repair stuff and all of that. So I do sell those, the noni juice and limu juice. But I don't really specifically get into like nutrition,
Okay.
other than telling people you need to be shopping around the corners of the store. If the majority of your food is coming from the inner part aisles,
I've heard that before. I've heard that before. Now talk to me. Just I know this is not the show for that, but the corners. Just touch on that real quick.
so the corners of the store, the outer edges, because that's where all the fresh stuff is.
Got you.
The
Vegetables,
milks and
yeah.
things, all of the cold, fresh, those types of things are on the outer parts of the store. Your
Yeah.
vegetables, when you walk in a grocery store, your fruits and vegetables are right there.
Right.
You go around the corner, there may be the meat section might be there, and then there's the dairy section. And
Right.
so shopping around the corners of the store, you can find more whole foods. Because
Okay.
once you go down the aisles, it's a box.
It's a box. Yeah, you are so
It's
right.
in the box,
Everything is a box.
which means it's processed, heavily processed.
Everything. Man, my cookies.
But again, restoring balance, holistic.
Yeah.
So my balance might not be your balance.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't tell people like, don't ever eat anything sweet or anything like, bad. Eat it in moderation though.
Because I'm somebody who believes that the largest gap an individual will face is the gap that stands between where they are now and what they could become. So the question becomes, are you willing to climb? The greatest trick the mind will ever pull is convincing you that your greatness does not exist. Mama used to say, she said, Eric, what you do in the dark will come out in the light. And she means that you reap what you sow. You get what you put in. And so you got to put the work in. Why? Because you're going to step your game up and untap into that untapped potential of yours and become the greatest person that you can possibly become.
I woke up, I was about to lose everything. And so my wife was about to leave me, and that meant my 3 children were gonna be gone, which really hurt me because I would fall short on a promise to my kids where I told them that I was their father. Nobody would ever be in the house taking care of them. Nobody would be responsible for them. They never had to worry about calling anybody daddy but me. Momentum shift. When you get stuck, you got to find a way to get going. And that is all about elevating your performance. You have to realize that high-level results are not products of low-level effort. So you got to step your game up. So you get stuck, you got to get yourself moving. And when you're down in the dumps, you're the only one that's going to be there. So you got to be your own hype man.
What happens is when you don't realize that you have all that you ever need to create the life that you want to live, you're missing out. You're standing at the base of that mountain thinking and hoping somebody's going to save you when all you got to do is take action. Theodore Roosevelt said, he said that the credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena with their face marred in dust with sweat and blood. You've got to get into the arena, claim your moment, take the opportunity to take your shot. Then when you're in that arena, think about this. I got to step my game up.
Eric's message was extremely powerful.
The power of overcoming is not just connected to you. You're rising because the people behind you are counting on you. Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
Yes, go out and have the piece of cake.
Yeah.
Enjoy the cake. Don't be
Right.
eating it and you're feeling guilty. No, because now
That's
your
one
body
piece
is
of cake,
feeling
not a cake, right? One
not
piece.
the cake, a piece of cake. Okay. Because if you're going to eat it and then you're feeling bad while you're eating it, what signal are you telling your digestive system?
Right. Yeah.
And then your digestive system wants to reject what you're eating. So
Right.
be happy about it. Eat the cake, enjoy it,
Right.
and then go drink some water.
There we go. Enjoy
Be
it.
in
Yeah.
balance. So, some people can maybe perhaps take a higher sugar content, maybe they can eat a little bit more on the sweets.
Yeah.
But again, being in balance, not everything is sweet, something has to be whole food, so yeah, finding what that balance is and how it works for your body.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So now do you set up, now we know it doesn't happen overnight. Is that something that you recommend quarterly? You recommend that 6 months? How every week?
So for massage, I generally recommend that people get massages once a month.
Okay. Okay. What's that?
Once a month.
Okay.
And that once a month will help to regulate you.
Okay.
So that, throughout a 30-day cycle, you're going to have some highs and some lows in that 30-day cycle. Stress may go up, it may come down.
Yeah.
And so it's helping to maintain, helping to get whatever stress levels that the body may be experiencing, hoping to get them balanced, to get you readjusted so that
Right.
you can go back out and function, right?
Yeah.
And so I recommend once a month for those. I also provide spa services. So one of the services that I do is called a rejuvenating noni wrap.
Gotcha.
And so it involves exfoliation.
Okay.
Our skin, which is our integumentary system, is the largest system
Okay.
of the body, believe it or not, skin.
And you call
Skin,
it
hair, and nails.
Yeah.
And so getting the skin cleaned so that it can readily absorb nutrients from the oils that we put on it is very key. So I recommend getting a full body exfoliation once a quarter.
Okay.
But at minimum twice a year. Like, maybe spring and fall are the times that you would do that, at when it starts to get warm and then when it starts to get cold.
Right.
So that you are exfoliating off the dead skin. And so you're getting your skin prepared for the new season that's coming in.
Gotcha.
But yeah, once a month. Now, if you have something that, I do have a client that comes bi-weekly, every 2 weeks.
Really?
She comes.
Oh, wow.
And that's because she has something that's going on in her body that we are actively working on.
Okay.
And so for her, it's every 2 weeks, but at a minimum, once a month is good to get a massage.
Yeah.
And of course, if you have more funds, then, you can get it more often.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It makes sense. So we kind of talked about everything. I want to talk about this momentum shifting a little bit more before we close out. And, a lot of people think just because I change my mindset and I go after what it is I want, I know what my dream is, we don't struggle with anything. Is there anything you still look at that you may struggle with, but how do you cope with it? work through that? How do we shift through that?
Being a business owner is they don't tell you all of this in the beginning. They
Right.
don't tell you that you're going to start off wearing hats. And
Yeah.
it's like, I just want to do massage.
Right.
Yeah, but you need some clients. So you're
Yeah.
going to have to do some advertising. You're going to have to
Right.
be your own content and social media manager.
Right.
Oh, I got a checking account, a banking account.
Yeah.
I got to make sure I'm paying these taxes and things
Yeah.
of that. So there's the accountant hat that you wear. So you start off and you're wearing a multitude of hats
Yes.
just to function to do this one thing.
Right.
But that's life. And so as your business grows, then you have to delegate. You have to know when to delegate and what to delegate.
Okay.
And then you start delegating, like, listen, I'm not doing these taxes. Miss Tax Lady, I'm gonna need you to do these quarterly taxes for me because I didn't go to school for that. You
Right.
do it. I'm gonna pay
Yeah.
you to do your thing. Go ahead on the shine.
There we go.
Okay?
There it
You
is.
do your
Help
thing,
somebody
right?
else, right? That's
So
when
it's
the
always
me becomes we.
yes, the me becomes we. It
Yeah.
does. It takes a village. It really does take a village to run a business, to get you, so that you are operating efficiently and effectively, and then you can kind of focus in on the craft,
Yeah.
that you love. That's the reason why you started the business to begin with. So
Yeah.
yeah, knowing when to delegate.
And why do you do what you do?
I do what I do because I had a dream.
I do remember you saying you had a dream.
It seems so corny, but it is. So I took this program. Um, it's called it had something to do with little girl dreams.
Okay.
And a friend of mine who is a clinical social worker, this was one of her programs. And so I'm like, well, I'm gonna do the program because she was offering it. And so I'm like, let me help her because it was free. But
Right.
she wanted people to come through the program so she can do some evaluations. Like, okay, well, I'll do the program, I'll help. And then throughout the course of the program, finding out, girl, you are living your little girl dreams.
Oh
So
wow.
this dream that I had, it was a daydream
Uh,
of me making over this girl in my school. It started around 5th grade.
okay.
And I would dream of taking her to the mall, getting her hair done, getting new
All right.
clothes, all of those things. And so this was like in the 70s, I want to
All
say,
right. All right.
late 70s, early 80s
Oh, you can't be
time
that old.
frame,
No way.
right?
No way.
And so it was before the Clueless movies and all of
Yeah.
these makeover movies and shows came out, right?
Right.
And so that was the dream that I had as a little girl. And, I grew up and kind of like totally forgot about it, right? And then it came back. And it came back in the form of the Esther experience.
Mm,
And I'm like, what's Esther experience? So the
right.
Lord said the Esther experience. And I wrote it down. And now I'm like, what is this?
Right.
Me being me, I'm a researcher. I'm gonna find
Absolutely.
out something. So
Right.
I go to the book of Esther. You start where you know.
Yeah.
And I read, and then there was this verse that stood out in
Uh,
the 2nd chapter that talked about her process, 12 months.
okay.
6 months of oil of myrrh, and then
Uh-huh.
6 months with beautifying oils and cosmetics.
Okay.
And that's what the Esther experience is based on. It's a 2-step process of purification and beautification. But
Okay.
we're not just doing the outside,
Yeah.
we're doing the inside.
Inside. Yeah.
So the inside means like we're going to talk about rejection.
Right.
We're going to talk about some traumas. We're going to talk about shame.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about all of these things that have gotten us, good or bad, to the place that we are.
Yeah.
Good or bad, they may be preventing us from going to the next level. So we have to deal with it. We have to purify that stuff and then beautify. God never takes something away without giving you something to
There
replace
we
it
go.
with.
Yep.
And so there's always a replacement. And the
Right.
replacement is always better than what you gave away, right?
You just have to
And
be willing to
things-
let it go, right? Stop
Yes.
fighting it.
And it's getting women, it's a transformational process. It's like the butterfly goes through its metamorphosis from being a caterpillar to the butterfly. Then these women are going through their process.
Right.
And one thing about that process is that you can't cheat the process or
No.
you won't grow your wings.
There we go. Yeah. And I like
The
how I
caterpillar,
think at the end of the video I saw, they have the gown and the crown or the right. I love it. I
yes,
love it. The whole experience. I like it.
whole experience, the whole
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
And so that butter, that caterpillar is wrapped up in this cocoon. Nobody can get to it, and it
Yeah.
can't get to anybody. And it goes through this process. And then when it's time to emerge, it has to go through this very tight opening.
Yeah.
And it's painful. You're going through this really tight space, but you have to go through that tight space because if you don't, the wings won't form correctly.
Right.
And then the butterfly can't fly. And so with women, you have to go through that tight space so
Yeah.
that at the end, your wings can expand.
Yeah.
You can go from glory to glory because you've gone through the process. And so I started where I was,
Yeah.
doing it as a 3-hour service, to last year doing it as a 3-day retreat, all-inclusive retreat.
Yeah. I
So all
saw
the
that.
women had to do was come.
Yeah.
And, we had 7 handmaidens that were pouring into the
Wow.
esters that came. So food was included. I'm talking about whole foods, like the
Gotcha.
good foods
All right.
were included. The teachings from the spiritual perspective to do the cleaning, then the physical, the massages, the facials, that piece of it. So
Yeah.
it includes all of that. And then there's a coronation at
Okay.
the
Yeah.
end where the esters were crowned.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you,
That's
when
beautiful.
when when a woman gets a crown,
Uh,
like a physical crown, something shifts
yeah.
in her,
Right.
and she sees herself in a mirror,
Yeah.
the reflection, because now she's beginning to dream and beginning to see herself as more than what she thought.
Yeah. Turn it
And now this
into
crown on
possible.
her head represents royalty. It represents being regal. It represents having authority and power and dominion. And so now she begins to associate herself differently.
Yeah.
It's a shift.
There it is. It is like you're turning the impossible into possible, and you're helping people do that. What do you have
Yes.
coming up for 2024?
So for 2024, I have several speaking engagements that I will be a part of.
Right.
And I am doing the Esther Experience Retreat again. So
Okay.
we're doing that. The dates are September the 12th through the 15th.
Okay.
It's going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina, Queen City.
There we go.
And with this experience, it's limited to 10 women
Okay.
because it's a very intimate type of experience. And
Right.
so we limit it to 10 women so that we can effectively pour into these 10 women. Registration will open in January. It'll be on my social media tags. So people can follow me at Restoring Balance Holistic on
Okay.
Instagram, Facebook, and the TikTok.
Right. There you go. Watch out. Watch out.
So that's where you can find more information. You can follow me on Facebook, Dawn R. Smith, and I often will repost Restoring Balance information on my personal platform as well.
Cool. Cool. I love it. Is there anything you want to share with them before we sign off for the day?
Don't be afraid of the shift.
Ooh.
No one is exempt from the shift.
Yeah.
It's coming.
It
The
is.
shift is coming. And because now you are aware that it's coming, you're
It's
not
coming.
exempt. When it comes, embrace it.
Yeah.
Embrace it afraid. Embrace it not knowing what the next steps will be, but embrace it and enjoy the journey.
Yeah, man, I love it. I love it. I was rubbing off these goosebumps like, woo, man, embrace the shift. You have to, right? Because it's what you're looking for. If you're sitting there and you find yourself stuck and you're not happy, the shift is what you're looking for. So, Apostle Dawn R. Smith, I want to thank you for joining me today. You truly are a momentum shifter, and I love the energy you come with. The message you share with everybody, mind, body, and spirit is so true, and I love what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. We're going to get everybody down there. Only 10 of them going to be able to experience the Esther experience. I'm telling you, man, I love what you're doing. Like I said, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for joining me. And that's it for our show, ladies and gentlemen. The Momentum Shift, the show designed to get you inspired, get you moving so you can get results. Why? Because we want you to turn the impossible into your new reality. I'm Eric Collier, the mayor of motivation, and I want to thank you for joining me. Until next week, just keep pushing because nobody's going to do it for you. Take care.
Are you feeling stuck, dreaming of a life beyond your current boundaries? I'm Eric Collier, and I've been where you are. Now, as an international speaker, 3-time international best-selling co-author, veteran, and the host of the Momentum Shift podcast and radio show, I've dedicated my life to helping people just like yourself embark on a transformative journey to unlocking your inner greatness. With my wealth of experience and a proven track record, I guide individuals to break through barriers and create life-changing momentum shifts. Having been featured in news and magazine articles, on television shows, and spoken on stages like the National Press Club and Columbia University, my message has inspired people worldwide to turn the impossible into possible. On my show, the Momentum Shift podcast and radio show, I'm committed to sparking a movement that empowers others to shift momentum in their lives, offering motivational insights, interviews, and thought-provoking discussions. If you are ready to redefine what's possible and unlock your potential, then subscribe to my mailing list for exclusive content and updates. Join a community of motivated individuals just like yourself on the path to greatness. Subscribe now and transform your life at SierraCollier.com.
Thank you for joining The Momentum Shift, a show bringing you interviews and stories of incredible people to help you get inspired, get moving, and get results to ultimately create the life-changing momentum shift that will improve your life. Join host Eric Collier, the mayor of motivation and mental quicksand expert, every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern for The Momentum Shift, the show and change you've been looking for.